My name is S.Y. Pawan Kumar, Assistant Professor, Department of IT. We are here to discuss something about collection framework. Okay. So first of all, what is this collection all about? Collection is nothing but collection of objects, right? Collection of objects. But what kind of objects and how they are going to be organized in a particular collection, that will depends upon type of collection that you are adapting. Generally, first of all, let us understand why should we need this collection actually. So far, we discussed the core programming, the Java core programming, how to transfer a single value or two values or three values from one method to other method or one class to other class. For example, if I have more than one value, for example, more than one or more than three. So if I have 10 to 20 values or 30 values like that, it is not at all feasible for me to transfer them individually, right? Why? Because if you want to call the method with all the 20 parameters, and if you want to call that method with for example for 20 parameters, and the same method will be uh, should be implemented with all those 20 parameters, right? So the calling method as well as called method both should have the 20 parameters length. Am I right? So if you miss at least any one argument, so you will get a disturbance in the flow. Am I right? So for that, what I'll do is I'll keep all these 20 values in a single collection, and I'll transfer that collection to the calling method, called method. Okay, that's why this collection is going to be very important for the advanced applications. Okay, for example, if you want to store some database records, or if you want to retrieve any database records and you want to display, for all these purposes we use collection framework. Okay, let us discuss about this collection framework in depth. Okay, let me present my slide. Okay. Okay, right. So this is collection framework. Okay. So first of all, what is why collections? So actually, it is a concrete implementation. Why? Because it has some built-in methods in order to insertion, deletion. If you want to sort them automatically, and if you want to remove the duplicates automatically, for all these things will be happen automatically with the methods. So no need to write the logic implicitly. Okay, you can simply call the method, whichever method you want to implement. You can that implementation will be done in the background. No problem. Here we don't have any headache of writing the logic for insertion, deletion, okay, sorting, all these things. They will be done automatically when you call that particular method. Okay. So as I told you, the algorithm such as searching and sorting is very easy to implement using this collection framework. Okay. So I already told you the collection is nothing but it is some kind of objects, collection of objects. Okay, you can implement default objects also if you want. Okay, not only the user-defined object, but also you can include predefined objects, wrapper classes, all these things inside your collection framework. Okay. So this collection of objects can be transferred between different programs in a project. As I already told you, it is not possible for me to pass the individual variables or individual values from one method to other method. So what I will do is I'll perform a collection of all these individual values or parameters as a collection, and that collection will be transferred from calling method to the called method. Okay, that we'll see in the demo session. Okay. So this is the complete collection interface. Actually, collection is an interface. Okay. So from this, we can have two child classes. Okay. Two child interfaces. Okay. Here, set, list, and queue. Okay. Here, collection is the main parent that, or you can have all the ultimate parent interface from which the properties can be derived. Okay. So for deriving those properties, we have three more child interfaces, that is set, list, and queue. Okay, set, list, and queue. So here we have in the set we have a hash set, sorted set, and in the list we have array list, vector, linked list, and in the queues we have a priority queue. Here if you observe, the solid arrow will represent the property of extending property. Extending property generally takes place between two interfaces or two classes. Am I right? The extend property will be mentioned between either any two classes or any two interfaces. Similarly, this dotted arrow will represent the implementation. Of course, both are belongs to the inheritance only, but here this dotted arrow says that implements, and this solid arrow will tells you the what extends. So extends clause can be placed between two classes or two interfaces, whereas the implements clause can be used between the interfaces and classes. Okay. Now, what are the major collections for project? Then generally we won't use all these collections. Okay, in our real time applications. Okay, generally we use majorly lists, sets, and maps. Okay, here in this we discuss two types of lists, that is array list and linked list. Whereas in the set we use hash set, and in the map we'll use hash map. Okay, let us discuss one by one. So, what is a list, set, and map? What is the difference between those? Actually, why we have three types of collections majorly used, and what is the difference between those three collections? Okay, first of all, if you want to keep on adding the objects to an array list or a linked list, you can keep on add those objects, no problem. Why? Because it will accept duplicate also. Okay, for example, in this scenario, if you see, I can insert nil two times. Okay, so list doesn't bother about the duplicates. You can insert any value irrespective of whether it is already existing in the collection or not. Okay, you can keep on adding the objects, whereas in the set that is not possible. Okay, if you're trying to add nil again, it won't accept. If you're trying to add nil again, it won't accept. Why? Because set doesn't allow duplicates. Map will also not allow duplicates, but what is the difference between set and map is collection of key value pairs. Okay, here duplication in the sense no duplicate keys will be allowed. Okay, no duplicate keys are allowed. For example, here I can say that here these 10, 25, 30, 40 are, I'm taking them as a keys, and the corresponding values are Arun, Deepa, and Kama. Okay, so 10 comma Arun is one value, 25 and Deepa is another value, 30, 40 Kamal is another value. This value is composed of both key and value pairs. Okay, these individual entities can be added to your hash map like this. So here there is no duplication of keys are allowed. Okay. So now let us see what is an array list and a linked list. Okay. So here we can perform operations like insertion, deletion, and searching and display using this both array list and linked list. You already know that array list is nothing but the memory will be continuous, whereas linked list it is not continuous. Okay. So inserting and deleting of elements can be done directly or index based in both. That means if you want to delete a value, you can pass that value, which value you want to delete, which value you want to delete, you can pass that value. Otherwise, you can pass the index of that value in order to delete that. Okay. Here we can also do the insertion and also deletion of the entire collection. This is how we create array list and a linked list. This is the syntax. Okay, so the linked list has some additional methods to insert the element first or last, or remove the elements at first or last. We'll see in the API. For example, if you consider methods in array list, you can add an object. You can add all objects. That means you can add a collection of objects. That means object collection can also be added to a list. Okay, you can add here. What I want to say is you can add individual objects, and you can add collection of objects at a time. Okay, here you can add an object at a particular index. You can remove the object. That means if you want to remove a particular object, you can pass what is the value of that object and you can remove directly, no problem. Here also you can remove the same thing. You can remove the object, but this time you are going to give the index for it. Okay, what is the index of that object? That index will be passed. If the object exists at that index, it will be removed. Okay, if the index is not valid, it will raise an error. Okay. Similarly, you can how we are adding the collection of objects at a time. You can remove the collection of objects at a time. Okay. And if you can check whether a particular object is going to be contained in the list or not. Okay, the return value is a boolean for it. Generally we use this type of method inside if else conditions, right? So here what you are doing is you will check whether a particular object is contained in that list or not. That will be handled over here. And similarly you can check for a collection of objects also whether the contains this collection or not. Okay, now what are the additional methods for the linked list? Okay, additional methods for linked list. Here I can add at the first position and I can add at the last position. Similarly, I can remove at the first position and I can remove at the last position. That means you can implement both queue and stack mechanism using this linked list. Okay, queue and stack mechanism using this linked list. Okay, first in, last in, first out, and first in, first out mechanisms can be easily implemented if your list is a linked list. Okay, so before going to handle with the hash set, let us see some. Let us do an exercise on list. Okay, let me create a new program. Let me create a new program. Okay, I click class. So I want to give a class name as list demo, and I want main method also. Finish. Yeah, here one more thing I forgot to mention. Okay, if you want to implement any type of collection interface, like you want to implement list or you want to implement set or if you want to implement map or any other collection framework, the first thing you have to import is that is util package, Java util package that you have to import first. Okay. Okay. Right. Let me increase the font size. Okay, we'll see later. Hope this is visible for you. I think. Yeah, I think it's like this also. Okay, fine. Yeah. So now I want to create a sample array list. Okay. Here I want to first create list list al is equal to new array list. Okay. Now you can continuously add the values to it. Al dot add of whatever the value that you add to this list, it will be like a okay, it will be add like an object only. So here, for example, if I pass 34, for example, here you don't think that 34 is a string value. Of course, string, but will be string is a default object also. I can say that, for example, al dot add 25, for example. Here 25 is not a value. Again, it will be an integer. It will be a object again. Okay. So now I want to add this time a string value. For example, list collection. And I've added. Now I want to print that collection, that is AL. Okay. I execute this code. Okay, 34, 25 list collection. This is what the collection that you made. Okay, so here you cannot say that 34 is a string and 25 is a integer and the list collection is another string. All these are all will be acting as an objects only. Will be acting as an object only. So here if you want to print the size, okay, al with the size, so you can identify the size. Okay, execute the value, execute the program. So size is 3. Why? Because 3 objects are included so far. Now I want to add some more objects. For example, I want to add, for example, I want to add is 1 comma 46.52. Okay. And again, I want to print the collection again. Then I want to add a collection again. Okay. So what I'm doing over here, I'm passing the index where I want to add the object. Okay, I want to pass in the index where I want to add the object. Okay, that is the index 1. That means at the place of 25, you are adding 46.52, a double value, a double object. Okay, again, you are reprinting the collection along with the size. So here, no need to include any, no need to write any special logic in order to insert a particular element at that particular position. Am I right? Right. Is it to explore or not? Yeah. So here also one thing you have to remember here, the list collection or a set collection or map collection, any collection if you take, they will grow dynamically. The memory will be increased dynamically, automatically. When you are trying to insert the element, okay, a new memory location will be generated automatically, not like arrays. Okay. So these are dynamic in nature. These are dynamic in nature. These collections are dynamic in nature. For example, I want to add one more value. For example, I want to add second position. This time I want to add one character, that is D. Again, I want to print the collection. Okay, print the collection, save it, and run it. Okay, one more object has been added at position 2. And now what I want to do is I want to remove that al dot. I want to perform two types of remove. Okay, one is index based. For example, I want to remove the value at index 1, and I want to pick the list. Okay, this time it is 4. Okay, like that you can implement all the methods that are required for collections array list. Similarly, if you want to remove a particular object that you what we want to remove, that means you can directly pass the object what you want to remove over here. For example, I want to remove list collection. List collection. I want to remove that object directly. Okay, it removes list collection and it gives the resultant collection. Hope all of you are understand, right? Okay, this is how we work with array list. Let me show you one more example. New, sorry, new class linked list dem. For example, I want main method also. For the convenience, what I'll do is here first we have to import java.util.star. Okay, for the convenience, let me take the same main method over here. In the previous program, what we have written, I want to use the same method over here. Okay. Copy paste. Okay. This time, what I'll do is here I have added two, three objects initially. Okay. Let me make this as list ll is equal to, I want to make this this time I want to make this as a linked list. Okay. I want to, these methods are common, the remaining methods are common. Let me replace al with ll. The methods what you have used for array list is common for linked list also, but there are some additional methods are there for linked list. You should know how to use those additional methods to on your linked list. Okay. Similarly, here you have to change of al, you have to perform ll. And this is a linked list. Okay. Still, we are getting errors. Everything should be changed. Now it will be clear. Okay, everything is clear now. Now, along with all these things, what I can do is I can add first. Let me take XYZ is object. L is equal to new linked list. Okay, we can use add first. Let me recording ll dot add think all these objects will be added at first. Let us execute the program first. Okay. Okay. Same. Right. Uh, of course, in this you have to update the API. I think. Okay. There is no. I'm unable to find. The methods which are necessary for adding the objects at first, last, and removing the at first and last. Okay, I think this API is old API, I think. Okay, so if you have a new API, there is a possibility of adding the objects wherever you want. Whether you want to add it first, or you can add it last, or you can remove it first, or you can remove it last. Okay, so that is about the lists.